Hey everyone, we're going to be going over distributive property. This is going to be a little while, so hang in there. Distributive property is very good to know for both TMSCA and math counts test. It's one of the most used things in Algebra 1 and all advanced math through high school. What it's saying, here, let me draw it out. Let's say you have three numbers, right? A, X, and Y. It's saying if you have numbers in this form, you distribute the A to both this and this. You get A times X equals AX. A plus Y equals AY. So what distributive property is saying is A times X plus Y equals AX plus AY. Now if we do this backwards, we would divide both sides by A, right? Divide this side by A and divide this by A. You get A times X plus Y. Now let's plug in some numbers into this. We have X plus 5. So we have 3 times X plus 5. Right here. So let's say we want to expand this out. We're going to distribute the 3 here to the X, right? 3 times X makes 3X. And then distribute the 3 to the 5. And 3 times positive 5 equals 15. So when you distribute this out, you get 3x plus 15. Now, let's do it backwards. 3x plus 15, you have to do a little factoring, but you notice that the greatest common denominator of 3 and 15 is 3, obviously. So you're going to divide both sides by 3. You're going to get x plus 5. And you bring it back down to 3x plus 5. Right? Now let's take this a step further. Let's go. Let's use fractions, right? Sorry, let me change this. Right, so let's take a look. Same thing. We're gonna go this times this. 3 halves times 32 over 3. These 3's cancel out. You get 32 over 2, which is 16. And then you try 3 over 2 times x over 3. Once again, the 3's cancel out and you get x over 2. So obviously this looks much better than whatever that was with all the fractions. And let's factor it back. We notice this actually is a little more difficult, but you do know we could divide both sides by a half. So divide this by a half, and instead multiply it by 2. You'll get you'll just get x, right? And multiply this by 2, you'll get 32. You'll get x plus 32 times 2, or times 1/2 actually, because we divided by a half. And then you can just multiply this by 3 and divide these by 3. Man, can I think of any better example? Any harder instances? Okay, yeah, basically, if this makes sense, all you're doing is if it's in this form, you're multiplying it by this, and you get some form, and then some variable, and then you multiply it by this, and you get some other variable. Right. That's the basic gist of it. Now, let's say you have this. A plus B times x x plus y. In this case, it'll be the same thing. Well, not the same thing, but you're going to start off by taking your a and you're going to multiply it by the x, which gets you ax. And then take the a, multiply it by positive y, you'll get ay. And after this, you move on to the b, you do b times x, you get bx, and then b times y equals by. So in this case, this whole thing is equal to a plus b times x plus y. Now let's see how we can use this another way. So let's say you get, let me think of something. Let's say you have the problem 117 divided by 9, right? In this case, what you can do is you can split this into two parts. Right here, sorry, that's a bad example. Let me show you a different example. We'll do 9 times 17, right? This, it's not super hard, but you could find quicker ways. Now, instead of having this as like that, you could split this into two parts. You could split it into 9 times 10 plus 7. Do you see how this is the same thing? 9 times parentheses 10 plus 7 is the same as 9 times 17 because 10 plus 7 equals 17. And now you see it's in this form, and we can just do this. 9 times 10 is 90, and then 9 times 7 is 63, and suddenly this looks much easier than this. And that's how you can use the distributive property in multiplication. Now, if we do it the other way, or I'll use a problem I saw earlier, 3.48 divided by 12. It looks pretty difficult, but you can split it into parts. You can split it into $3 just 3.00 and 0.48, right? Divided by 12. And you can divide each part by 12. So let's start out with 3. 3 divided by 12, here's a little trick. 12 equals 3 times 4, right? So you can start off by dividing this by 3, which is easy, you get 1. And then after that, divide what you get here by 4, and you get 0.25, right? And then let's take the other side. 0.48 divided by 12 is going to be 0.04. And once you get those two answers, you can just add them, and you get 0.29. That's the way you can use it the other way around. Notice here, I didn't quite go over this, but this is all I was doing earlier. Whenever you get a number like that, whenever you have a fraction like this and it's two parts being added, not multiplied, but added, you have to divide this part by this number, right? And then the other part by this number down here. And then you add those parts together. Let me think of another example. Let's see if we can crack this one. 182 divided by 13. Again, this looks pretty difficult, but we can split it into parts, right? We can split it into 130 plus 52 divided by 13. This is easier. We divide this part by 13 and you get 10. Divide this part by 13 and you get 4. And you have a pretty simple addition problem that's way easier than this. That gets 14. Hopefully that made sense. Thank you for watching.